All right. Okay. Welcome to Checkmate Season 3. This season, you can expect content to come in different forms. All right. It may come in the news reporting form, it may come in an interview form, it may come in the me having a monologue with you guys straight on the camera form. It's just going to be a quick release of content. I say a sporadic release of content. All right. So I'll be covering a few topics that ran across my desk and that I feel like I wanted to comment on. I gave a little time, kind of saw how things played out. Now I'm gonna give my opinion. So let's start off with the Drake Kendrick Lamar beef. All right, if we want to call it a beef, let's just say the Drake Kendrick Lamar battle, because I wouldn't call that a beef. I would call that a battle. And now I'm gonna step on some toes of a few fans, but this is my opinion, and we all get to have that. Okay, so here's my opinion. When Kendrick did the "Like That" verse, right? He attacked Drake, but he attacked him on some passive shit, just passively. You know, like today's energy, that passive aggressiveness. You know, I ain't gonna say his name. I ain't gonna say his name. I'll say his album name, but I ain't gonna say his name. You know, that kind of shit. So when I'm hearing the verse, I'm like, okay, I know who he's talking about. I know the boy know who he's talking about. But damn, he could have came a little, a little more direct, right? So when you addressing somebody who sneak dissing you, but you sneak dissing them while you addressing them, the fuck? Where I'm from, and from my generation or whatever the case, we called you out, all right? So let's move forward. So when I'm hearing his verse, I'm like, okay, Kendrick, he's spitting hard. The beat is outrageous. The beat is definitely outrageous. And I know Metro did the beat, and Metro has beef with Drake as well. So when you hearing this hard ass beat, you got to think of it as this is Metro's bars. This is Metro throwing his form of an attack, which is gonna be a hard ass beat. So I'm listening to the beat. I hear Future verse and all of that shit. We'll get into Future later. When I say name, it makes my stomach hurt. We'll get into him later. Just makes my stomach hurt. Like just a bunch of mumble jumble. Like he has his place. All right, so Kendrick did his verse. I'm like, okay, the beat is bopping. The beat is hard. That beat is just stupid. The sample from Rodney O and Joe Cooley. For those who don't know who Rodney O and Joe Cooley is, Google like that, and type in Rodney O, and then you'll get a little piece of history. I'm not gonna sit here and give you all the history on that. All right, West Coast rapper, West Coast legend, producer, all of that. He used to make his own beats and then rap on them back in the '80s. Nigga had finger waves and everything. Stop playing. Do your research. All right, so I hear the verse, the beat snapping, everything jumping. I'm like, okay, this is rocking. With my boy, what's going on? What did I miss? Why people attacking my boy? Right? Drake, I wasn't even the biggest Drake fan until the attack. Right? So then, I hear the attack. I'm like, okay. That's what's up. I don't know where this comes from, but that's what's up. And then Drake responds with the push up song. I wasn't counting first person shooter as a diss song, but evidently Kendrick was. So it's some shit in that song. I'm assuming that he took it offense to a lot of those bars. So that's where like that comes from. And then it also comes from some other shit that Metro has beef and Future has beef with Drake about. And Kanye and Rick Ross and ASAP. A few people. So I'm listening to push ups. And when push ups came on, Drake came like the traditional beef. I'm gonna call your name out, beef. I'm gonna call your producer's name out. I'm gonna call everybody's name out. And he hit the young man with an arsenal. So I'm like, yeah, Drake. Yeah, Drake. The beat dope. I mean, the beat is dope. I have no complaints about the beat, but what I do have a complaint about, and I am a Drake fan, so we just gonna know I'm gonna be a little bit biased, but I'm gonna be real too. So the only complaint that I have with all of the songs throughout the battle, besides like that, the production was banging. The mastering of these songs were not quite on point to me. Like all the songs sound a little hollow. They're kind of low, in comparison to the other songs that are out, your typical singles. Trust me, I know because I try to crank them bitches up when I can. Like if the Drake Family Matters comes on, I try to crank it up as loud as I can. It doesn't have the velocity. So once Drake dropped push ups, he followed that up with another track, bro. I'm old, so you gotta bear with me. He followed that push ups track up with the Tailor Made, the Tailor Made song, to where he started dissing Kendrick on taking so long to drop. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Yo, why you taking so long to drop? Is it because Taylor Swift just dropped? Nigga, she pushed your shit back." Which was the truth. He was not lying. He wasn't lying. When Taylor Swift dropped, she had the whole YouTube on lock. I couldn't even pan up the YouTube without seeing her single on my on the ad thing. Not even when I click a video, like when I'm just panning up. You know what I'm saying? Like she's right there with the Amazon ad and the fucking Temu. So I can understand why Kendrick put his stuff off until, the massive Taylor Swift wave passed. So, the next week passed, and then here he comes with Euphoria, which was a dope song. I like the sample. Sample was dope as hell. And the flow wasn't bad. But I'm gonna keep it a band with you. I'm not the one. I'm not into the voice changing, quirky, like, don't clown around. If it's a battle, don't clown around. I'm not into the clowning around shit, the quirky stuff. So to me, the song sounded kind of quirky a little bit. Then he followed up with 616 in LA. I believe it was something like that. Or June 616, some shit like that. I don't know. I don't quite remember. Like I said, I don't do the quirky stuff. So when I started hearing the quirky rap, I started to tune his. I still gave it an ear because it was good music, but it doesn't resonate with me like that. Because we having a battle here. It's a battle. It's not, break your new quirky voices out. And I don't like when a man does the high octaves, low octave, high octave quirky shit. All right. So, anyways, then Drake drop. No, then Kendrick drops. I had these things in my head. Kendrick drops another track. The No, then Drake dropped some shit. What Drake drop? Euphoria, 616. Then Drake drops that damn, what did he drop? I might have to pull it up. I'm gonna have to pull it up. I'm gonna have to pull it up because I had it before, but I'm gonna pull it up because I know Kendrick dropped 616 and then Drake dropped I wanna say Drake dropped Family Matters. I'm trying to do it in the order that the stuff came out. So let's see here. And we're gonna do it in real time. You guys are gonna come with me down this rabbit hole. For those who do know, just put it in the comments. Let me see. Kendrick, this track list. So I'm going to pull up the list so that we can go ahead and go from there. Euphoria, then 616 in LA, then Drake drops the Family Matters joint, which to me, that's my favorite out of the whole selection, out of the whole list, the whole track list of all of them. Um, Family Matters happens to be my favorite. I'll explain why. All right, so then Kendrick drops Meet the Grams, which wasn't a bad song. It was more so bringing up allegations and so forth, um, which to me isn't necessarily a real battle. Because to me, a real battle is a battle of skills and how your wordplay, what beat you select, um, the scheme of your rhyme. How are you schematically dissing this person? You know, how are you laying it out on this track, on this beat that you chose? What different rhyme style are you doing that we hadn't heard that you just broke out just for this battle? That type of thing. That's how I came up. That's the battle that I remember. All right, so let's get back to it. Let's get right back to it. All right, so Kendrick drops Meet the Grams, and then he drops Not Like Us, which on the West Coast, that's a banger on the West Coast. Um, Again, to me, it's okay. It's not a bad song, and it's not because I like Drake. It's because I like music. It's not a bad song. The production from DJ Mustard. Let's see if I can lighten this up a little bit, if that helps out. The production from DJ Mustard to me was mid. Is that how y'all young people say it? It was mid. Yeah, I know it. I know it's a banger on the West Coast. I get that, but to me it was mid. Then Drake drops the Heart Part 6, which was a sleeper. Not a lot of people even checked for that song. Not a lot of people checked for that song. They were stuck on Not Like Us. They're still stuck on Not Like Us. I feel like the beat is underproduced. I feel like it's a simple sample, bridge, climax sample, and fucking some kicks and a snare. It's boring. Back when I used to make my beats, I put a little more complexity into my samples, you know, and so forth. He did a good job, but I just thought it might, it might use some more tracks. Okay. All right. So, like I said, I was gonna dive into this just a little bit more. Right. Let's get to these tracks now. On Meet the Grams, Kendrick basically showed Drake's like medicine, like said said he's on um some kind of sleeping fucking medicine, or no, some weight loss medicine that he takes. They say he has a BBL, he whatever. Um I feel like that's not a rap battle. I feel like that's just insulting somebody on a rhyme. You talking about, it's okay. It wasn't bad. I mean, everything goes. Once it's about anything goes, so I get it. I totally get it. Um, and there was a couple of beat changes, right? In a couple in this song, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, I don't get into the quirky songs, so I missed a lot of Kendrick's stuff. Where I'm from, we used to run his ass off the basketball court. The fuck out of here, man! Take that, what the fuck, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. The fuck, we don't rap like that over here. What's wrong with you? Crazy? But everybody has their favorites. Everybody has their opinions on what they like and what they don't like, and you're free to have that, just like I'm free to have mine. And I think it's some quirky shit. So the Family Matters track that Drake dropped, that shit had 3 beat changes. I don't know if Boy Wonder did the beats or what, but these were some decent ass beats. All right, the mastering still wasn't on par. It still wasn't up to snuff, but the beat changes, the 3 climactic beat changes. First off, he picked up from the push-ups joint, drop, drop, drop. Where academics was like, "What top five you eat in Kendrick?" And then he hit that drop beat. "What top five are you smoking, Kendrick?" That's what he said. Then he hit that drop beat, right? And then he cut the song off on push-ups. Well, he picked up on that drop beat on Family Matters and rolled through, let that start the Family Matters joint off. Then spun into the second beat, which was some melodic violins. Like, the beat's sick. The beat is sick. And it came with a visual. It's the only song in the battle that came with a visual. Okay. So I know everybody's having, they got their pick. All right, so before I get into more of it, the beat switches a third time. And that last switch, the beat that came on after the last switch, the way he killed that, the way he killed that, it was sickening. To me, that's the battle, right? Family Matters to me was the battle. It was over at that point. So before you could even do not like us or whatever the case, the battle was over. The battle was done. Not Like Us is a single off of his Kendrick's next project or something. The battle was over. What are we talking about? So when Drake responded with the Heart Part 6 after the Not Like Us joint, that's probably why I didn't even hear it like talking about it. I hadn't really sat with the song because the battle was over. I thought the battle was over when I heard Family Matters. Keep it honest with you. And look, I'm not getting any endorsements. Checkmate doesn't get endorsed by anyone. We don't have anybody sliding us a check for nothing. This is just an opinion. I felt like the battle was over after Family Matters. So everybody who hopping around off of the not like us shit, doing the TikTok stuff off all of that. I mean, if you like half done beats, you that hype. You so hype. You so hype that you so want Kendrick to win this battle, right? That you're willing to hop around and bounce around to a halfway done beat that ain't mastered. Will you eat a halfway done steak? Yeah, I guess you will. Will you eat a halfway done egg? Well, yeah, I guess you will. Well, you don't eat a whole lot of other shit halfway done, do you? Okay, then you don't want to listen to a halfway done beat with a halfway done song. I mean, the song is fully done, but the damn beat to me is just missing a whole lot of components. Not even speaking on the rhyme. The rhyme was dope. I mean, if you want to sit down and listen to like somebody giving you like a lecture, and then someone like, "Hey class, look, now back when we were slaves and this, the fuck out of here, dude. Spit the rhyme, my G. Like spit the rhyme." And if you really, really listen to the lyrics, what exactly was he saying? How context is this was this put together? Or was everybody just hype because it was a rap battle and Kendrick was spitting and they don't like Drake? I think that's probably what was happening. Because if you go back and listen to it, because they play it like crazy, and I'm like, yo, this ain't even a single. Why they playing it like it's a single? Finish the beat first and then put it back out. The fuck? Mustard. Finish the beat. Yo, Kendrick should be on the phone with Mustard like, yo, Mustard, that shit was rocking. Yo, you let me know when you finish it. When you finish it, send it over. No, send it over. Send it over. I'm gonna let my man just take my verse and put it in play. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta do nothing but just send it to me. As soon as you finish. Nah. The prototype was good. The rough draft was dope. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's what Kendrick should be doing. But no, they're playing that shit everywhere. That's just all over the place. Crazy. Battle was over at Family Matters, my G. You didn't get the memo. But anyway, fast forward. Drake has pulled down all of his um all the songs that were dissing Kendrick and a bunch of the Instagram posts that was dissing Kendrick. I believe this was probably um a request from some offices a little higher up, like Lucian Grange and those dudes. They probably like, let's get back to the bag. Enough playing with this quirky ass rapping dude. Let's get back to the bag. That's what I'm thinking they said. If it were me and I was the CEO of Universal, I think Drake's on whatever. It's all Universal. Um, I'd be like, yo, Drake, are you finished with this guy yet? I mean, because I'm just hearing him put out a bunch of quirky singles and he's starting to stream more than he's ever streamed in his life. Or for you. Can we bring that money back in the house? I think you shared enough. And he's not even being appreciative. He's steadily saying you colonizing this and colonize. Who in God's name, right? In a battle, gonna say a man is colonizing. What the hell has happened to my hip hop? What happened? You colonizing? Damn, B. It ain't the battling I remember. I used to walk around from street to street battling MCs. If you couldn't battle and couldn't freestyle back when I came up, you couldn't rap. Colonizing? We'll pick up on the next episode. This has been Checkmate, episode 1 of season 3. Yeah, I think this is the third season. There's been a few, and I've been smoking a few blunts in the course of these seasons and interludes. So this season is going to be an action-packed one. A lot of insight. Sorry we kept you waiting so long. Until next episode, this is Mr. Hot Sauce signing out.